I want to let my fellow Americans know something that might shock them. We all know that fentanyl is a scourge on our country. We all know that fentanyl is produced by the Mexican drug cartels. We all know that the precursor chemicals for fentanyl come from Chinese companies. What you might not know is that we can't even get a FISA warrant to stop that, to collect intelligence on those production companies, on those attorneys, on those bankers, on those facilitators that help the cartels murder and poison tens of thousands of Americans every single year. That's a pretty shocking statement. I bet you didn't know that. Well, you should know that. You know, FISA, despite all of the misinformation put out about it, is actually very narrowly tailored. It only allows you to get a warrant on a foreigner in a foreign land if it's related to foreign intelligence, if it's related to counter weapons of mass destruction, or if it's related to counterterrorism. Nowhere in there is counter narcotics, the thing that's actually killing Americans today and every single day. My amendment would simply upgrade that categorization to ensure that we can collect intelligence on the Chinese precursor being shipped into Mexico and into our own country so that we can actually stop the death of Americans. It's a very narrowly tailored amendment. It's not about all drug traffickers. It does not swoop in a bunch of Americans. It is about international drug traffickers trafficking illicit synthetics that are killing people. It's a very simple amendment. It's a bipartisan amendment. It is one of the biggest things that I've learned as my role as chairman on the cartel task force, that we actually are blind to the supply chains of fentanyl. To be against this amendment is to say we should give the cartels and China more Fourth Amendment rights and more First Amendment rights than we have. That's what it would mean in practice. And I hope that anyone who votes against this amendment, I hope you stop talking about the cartels being a problem. Because if we're not even allowed to collect intelligence on the cartels, then what are we doing? What are we doing? I just want to say to those opposed to the underlying bill, I understand we're going to have to agree to disagree. But I cannot imagine being opposed to this amendment even if you vote against the overall bill. I thought we all agreed that the cartels are one of our #1 threats. They're killing tens of thousands of Americans every year by poisoning them with fentanyl. We need to know how they're doing it. We need to know who their suppliers are. We need to know who's laundering their money. We can't know that within our current law. All we have to do is allow ourselves to do it. This is one of the most important things that I think our constituents actually care about. If we're going to act like we have sympathy for sons and daughters who have been killed from an overdose of fentanyl, then we actually have to take action on it. I got to say, too, that the warrant amendment would kill our ability to do this. Remember, the whole point of drug trafficking is to get it in the United States, y'all. The whole point of terrorism is to conduct a terrorist attack here in the United States. When you're collecting intelligence on foreigners, the only way they do those things is to communicate with entities inside the United States. To demand a secondary warrant just to search that communication kills our ability to connect those dots. And I yield back.